Hi, I'm Mark from the University of Strathclyde, and this is the first of two videos looking at web forms, part of the Web Applications Development class at Strathclyde. Okay, in this video, I'll look at HTML form with a separate PHP script to handle the form submission. We'll look at text input, we'll look at the difference between get and post, we'll look at a checkbox, and we'll talk a little bit about preventing abuse. In the next video, we'll look at integrating the page and the form a bit more closely, page and the response a bit more closely. So over to IntelliJ. We're going to start with a form. So a new HTML file, we'll call that form, and my first form. Okay, I'm just going to copy that down as a header. Oops. I'll just say hello here. Save that, check it in the browser. Oh. So it's 312, and it's in this directory, form.html. Okay, so there we go, my first form, hello. Great. So just to check the pages are up, now we start form. Do form is the tag. Now this does nothing. Really, it just shows blank. If we look at the page source, we can see the form is there, but there's nothing in it. So let's put something in it. So we'll get a name. What's your name? Then we want an input, which is of type text. Okay. Save that, refresh the page, and we get this. What's your name? And a text field. Okay, and create which I can type stuff. Grand. Oh, okay, so this is HTML, got to remember that. So we should probably actually wrap that up in a paragraph tag. And then I'm going to take a new paragraph, and in the new paragraph I'm going to have a submit button. Input type equals submit. Boom. Okay. So that gives us what's your name, field, and a submit button. So I can say Fred here, submit, and it goes over to the server. Is the theory. What actually happens is it just clears the form. If you look at the URL up here, there is a little change when I hit submit. So watch up here, submit, boom, we get a question mark. That's actually showing that it's being submitted because of lots of things, but lots of things are wrong here. Firstly, we don't say where it's to go. The second thing is we don't name this text field. So HTML forms work as name value pairs, so we have to give a name. So this name equals forename. Okay. So that's the name attribute is called forename. A bit confusing because we've got too many names going on here. But this is the name of the name value pair that we're sending across. If I save that and refresh the page, then I type Fred, submit, we now get question mark forename equals Fred. Okay, so this is a get. Okay, there's two ways of submitting a form. You can use get and you can use post. They both work. Actually, the practicalities are they both work much the same as each other. The idea of a get, though, is that a get is getting a document from the server. So it's like, give me the document, I'm getting it. Whereas post is about I'm posting data to the server to change something on the server. Okay, in both cases, you send name value pairs over to the server from the form. But the idea of a post is that you're going to change the server. The idea of a get is that it's like specifying a particular document on the server. Okay. So one example of where this comes into effect is if I bookmark it, okay, it sticks it on my here by default. The bookmark actually contains the parameters. Okay, so if I head off over to the BBC website, okay, and I go to my first form, we see that the parameters are kept there. Okay, you see this in lots of online shops when you're browsing around the catalog. They use URLs with get expressions to get data from the database to show you the products. You're not actually changing the database primarily. I mean, they might be keeping records of what you're tracking, but you're not updating things. You're not making an order. So you're just getting the pages. And it's handy to be able to bookmark those shoes you want. So you can bookmark the reference if you use a get because it's all stuck in the URL, which is quite handy. Right, so the other thing that's wrong is we're actually submitting it back to itself. And HTML forms can't handle forms very well. So we should really submit it to a PHP. That means we have to change the form tag to have an action. Okay, and that action is going to be form, if we're lucky, .php. Okay, we're also just going to say the method is get, just to be precise here. Okay, so let's say I want you to submit using get to form.php. So I now need to create a form.php. Okay, I'm going to be cheap here and just copy this over, remembering that PHP files are HTML files. And then I'm just going to make this my first reply. And take out the form. Okay, let's try that. So I'm back on the BBC. I'm back on my form. Yep. If I submit this, back, refresh, type in Fred, submit my first reply. Okay, so it's gone to form.php and it's now saying my first reply. It's not a very helpful reply though. Can we do something more useful? Well, we do that in PHP. There's a special associative array in PHP called $_get. Okay, there's one for post as well. And it's indexed by the names of the name value pairs. So if we get the forename element of the $_get array and echo that back, that should say my name. Refresh. Hey, there we go. And we can be a wee bit nicer. We can say, I think, actually we can't include that because it's a string, so we have to end the string and concatenate, then concatenate it with a full stop to be the end of the sentence. Okay. Actually, we should also remember that we're meant to be outputting HTML here, so we should have our start and end tags. Okay, so that's a string which is full stop, end, and that's concatenated with that. Yeah. As is Java, when you have to do that, it gets a wee bit complicated. Now it says, hello Fred. That's cool. Okay, I go back and I change this. I submit, it says, hello Mark. Okay, and I just go to my first form, the thing I bookmarked earlier. Doesn't work because the form doesn't know how to process the parameters. But if I go back here to this reply, and now I bookmark it, okay, my first reply. If I go back and I say my name is Joe, submit that, okay. Wander off to the BBC, and look at my first reply. It still says hello Mark, okay, because we bookmarked form.php with the parameters forename equals Mark. Okay. So that's a text input. Can we do post instead? Yeah. So if we go to our form, we just change the method to post, back to the browser, jump back to the form, refresh the form. It's amazing how often you forget to refresh the form when you're editing these things. And you're submitting, it's not changed. So I call myself Peter. I submit this, and first thing you notice is there are no parameters up here because post hides the parameters. They're sent behind the scenes, basically. And we've got an error on line 33 of our PHP. So we come back here, we go to the form, we can go to line 33. Oh yeah, need to change this. There's a separate associative array for post variables. Now if I refresh the page, the idea of post is that you're posting data to the server, and that data may change the server. So browsers are a wee bit paranoid about allowing you to refresh the page. This page that you're looking, the page that you're looking for used information that you entered. Returning to the page may cause any action that you took to be repeated. I'll say yeah, that's cool. And now it says hello Peter. Okay, that's cool. Great. Right, let's do a checkbox. I'm going to pop up W3, search W3 schools for checkbox to get an example. Okay, so the way that W3 schools work is a lot of the time you find pages on something, and then, actually here we've gone directly to the try it page. Probably here is where we went to from there. So you normally get pages like this where you see a sample form, then you can try it for yourself, and it pops up this window. And here you've got the code source, and you've got it shown rendered here. Okay, you can move that. And we can change this. So I have a new bike. Okay, run that, and you see the changes here. So it's a good place to play around with code. Okay, as it is, I'm just going to copy over one of the checkboxes. I'm going to stick it in here and in a new paragraph. Okay. I'm going to change it so that it's a checkbox. Its name is happy. And the value is the value that's sent if it's ticked. So I'm going to say yes. Okay. And checked is whether it's on or off by default. So I'm taking that out. And I'm going to change that to say I am happy. Okay. Save that. Refresh the page. Yep. That's the form response. That's the wrong thing to refresh. Refresh this page. I've now got a checkbox saying I'm happy. Okay. I type in my name, hit submit. Yeah. Tick, submit. Can't tell the difference. What we can do on the form, just for debugging, is we can do a print R and print out the post array. Okay. So we can see all the parameters that are sent across. Now if I refresh, see that forename is set to DDD and happy is set to yes. Okay, go back, if I untick happy, it actually hides that. So happy is no longer one of the elements of the associative array. So that makes handling errors a wee bit tricky. What I like to do is just set up variables at the beginning of my PHP. So I've got is happy as a variable, and that's equal to, well, that's equal to, first of all, we've got to check if it's set. And if I remember right, that is set in PHP. Yeah. So is set, determine if a variable is set or not. So is happy is equal to is set of $_post, square brackets, and then the name of the name value pair, which is from the form is the thing we call name, and that's happy. Okay, boom. Okay, so it's set if that is your person is happy if that is set, and the value of this is equal to yes, because that's the value we place if it's ticked. Okay. Okay. And just as a little aside, that is, I'm paranoid about priority with brackets, and I like to make it very clear what's going on. So I'll just stick brackets around that to make it a wee bit clearer. So there's two conditions for being happy. The happy variable is the happy element of the array is set, and its value is yes. Okay, this is safe to do because if this isn't set, this is false, and false and anything is false, so PHP doesn't bother evaluating the right-hand side. Okay, so in the code we can now add a little bit saying if the person is happy, then echo glad to hear you are happy. And it's PHP. We should be outputting HTML. So I will add my tags, and I've not added a start tag. Okay. I'm being very British about it all. You know, if somebody's not happy, we just keep quiet and ignore it. It's probably not the right thing to do, but hey ho. So if my name is now John, oops, and I'm not happy, then we get hello John. If I am happy, we get hello John, glad to hear you're happy. Yippee. And we can take out the debugging code. Okay, it's actually good practice to do the same for all variables. So I'm going to say $forName equals, handle this slightly differently. I've still used this code to see if it's set. Okay, I'm just going to copy that one here. No, put that in there and then copy it. So I'm going to use an inline conditional. So if it's set, then I want forName to have the value that it was given. Else, give it empty. Okay. A little bit tricky there because sometimes browsers send name value pairs with an empty value if the person didn't fill it in. Some browsers say don't bother. So like with the checkbox, happy wasn't set if it wasn't ticked. And then it was given the value yes if it was. Same with forName. Usually what you get is forName with an empty value, but sometimes the browser might not bother sending the empty value, so it would just not set the forName element. Okay, so this does the double check. So if it's set, you get the value that was sent. So if it's empty, you get empty. If it's not empty, you get that. But if it's not set, you get empty. So now later in the code, we can base our code around it being empty or not. Okay, so we can now use this variable and simplify this down a wee bit. Oh, just do that. And we could also react differently. So there, if forName equals empty string, then echo something generic like hello, hello mate. Okay. Else, we say hello in your name. Okay, save that. Go back here, refresh. So if I submit that, it just says hello mate. If I tick it, it says hello mate, glad to hear you're happy. And if I say my name, it says hello Mark, glad to hear you're happy. Okay, one wee glitch there I spotted, didn't put a full stop after mate. Want to be consistent in your conditions so the output looks the same. So we've done text input, we've done get versus post, we've added a checkbox, we've done a little bit of handling of different errors we might get. Now, preventing abuse. One of the strange things you can do, or naughty people can do, is you can actually include some, I'll do it in italics, HTML here. And that gets echoed straight back because that's all we're doing with the code. So this bit is what I think is your forName. Okay, and that's just been echoed straight back, so it's working. You can even be more devious here. We can do take somebody off to your rip me off site. Okay, I've actually been to ripmeoff.com. I won't go there in case it's rude. presume my browser would block it, but never mind. So my first reply is hello Mark, and here I've got a link. Now, if this is in a chat board or a forum or a review of a product, somebody might think, oh, that's interesting what that is. And you could style it and hide it in, make it try and look as if it's a help page or something, or more information about the product. And somebody clicks on it and you're off to ripmeoff.com before you've noticed. And if you make ripmeoff.com look like that website, you could ask for a username and password and I might slip and give you them. Okay, so that's actually really dangerous to have that. You're echoing other people's code back from your server. And it can actually be really dangerous because you can include JavaScript in that as well, which we'll come back to later in the course. So good thing is just to strip out HTML tags in PHP. And there's a function called strip tags. Okay, this is actually the W3 schools page. We can just do PHP that, and we find the manual entry. So with strip tags, strips HTML and PHP tags from a string. You give it a string, and you can optionally give it a list of allowable strings, but I won't bother. We'll just strip everything. And the way we write our code there, that's dead easy to do. We just do it up here where we're preparing our variables. So we just strip tags from our processing of the forename element. Okay, save that, go back here, refresh this page. We don't have to refresh the submission. And now it just says that because we strip out everything that's an HTML tag. So we've prevented abuse. Okay, that's us. Next time is not MySQL. Next time I'm going to look at slightly less basic form handling, looking at integrating PHP and HTML in the one page.